I saw fans say there's a script for wilderness survival. The show crew just smiled and said nothing. Backhand will black powder invited over to participate. The location was also carefully selected. They're good at getting food. Let's see how good the fans are this year. See if it's real. I can do it. You probably don't remember Ernie, do you? For those who have participated in the Naked Survival Challenge, he's a super fan who loves him more than the director. You can see all kinds of offline activities. The players like to talk to Ernie too. Whoever didn't know it thought he was on the show. Ernie doesn't watch Naked Survival every day, just to talk to the contestants and learn survival skills. Watch every detail over and over again. It's hard to find a crazier man. No wonder Ernie went for the challenge. The children's wish for him was not to die, Dan. I wonder how he'll behave. Mandy came to the challenge as a fan. Now I'm so excited I can't stop my heart. I usually take my kids to watch the show. I thought I didn't make it to the challenge. Let the kids keep signing up when they're old. I didn't think I'd be so lucky to be here. I usually do exercises to prepare for it. Try to set a good example for the kids. When they grow up, they take part in the challenge. He has served in the military. She thinks she's got something. You know, naked in front of the camera. More or less shy. I wish my partner wouldn't keep staring at me. After all, she is naturally attractive. This time it's all fans with little survival experience. The show let them stay for 14 days. In theory, as long as there are no surprises, you can still complete the challenge. As for eating well, it depends on their strength. Ernie came by with autographs from all the players. This time, we need to bring in the big boys. Let him eat and drink in the wild. He served in the army for almost 30 years. I'm pretty good at surviving in the wild. I'm still addicted to learning. Ernie thinks nothing can bring him down. It's only 14 days and at the handle. Already looking forward to something delicious to eat. I don't like being naked on camera, but if it's for the challenge, he's willing to keep it that way. I didn't know two crazy fans were doing it together. I wonder if I can surprise the show. They soon met at their destination. It's not awkward to meet someone like that for the first time. Can't wait to explore. Ernie says he's a big fan. Don't pay attention to the old iron, remember to pay attention. Bring you more different wild survival. Mandy had no idea he was so professional. She only got into it last year. I hope the big guy can fly himself here. After a brief exchange between the two, now we can check the equipment. Ernie already has 2 original bags at home. This has to be framed when the challenge is over. It has to be 100% original. Mandy was stunned by the love. He's a super fan. Ernie brought a bow and arrow this time. He wanted to take it home as a souvenir. Mandy brought dental floss to ensure oral hygiene. Ernie says, "Are you kidding?" Mandy had no idea her partner was so smart. I was joking. Brought a machete. Actually, the two get along so well. What can we expect from them? Now follow the map to the water source. It kind of looks like a cave. That would save the construction effort. The show crew takes good care of people. Ernie went back to pack up the Amway show. Don't say a word and start the challenge immediately. It's about a 4-mile walk. It's surrounded by dense jungle, rugged terrain coupled with a variable climate. Satisfy your heart that loves a challenge. Don't worry about food at all. It's all good food that will take you to dinner. We'll see what happens next. The rocks on the ground are pretty sharp. I was prepared for it, but I was shocked by the environment. If it wasn't for those feet, they'd be thick as a cheek. I'm afraid we're going to have to get a big red to start with. The two plan challenges while exchanging ideas. We both have a good impression of our partners. I feel very hopeful that I can complete the challenge. I can still adapt to the environment. But as we go deeper and deeper, it feels like a sign of dehydration. We need to find a water source soon. This side of the problem is not easy. When two people are tired to doubt life. Finally, I can see a cave up ahead. It's not even inside yet. I can smell a smell. The problem is not very big. A little cleaning up can be a campsite. The most important thing is that it has water. Overall, it was quite satisfactory. Now is the time to start the fire. Not sure what danger is around the animal, but night bats certainly come alive. If you don't have a flame, you might get scratched by them. What if it gets infected? It won't be as simple as antibiotics. Although Mandy had some training before she got here. But building a fire is a real no-no. Tried several times, but failed to ignite. I made myself sweat. Ernie watched as his partner kept trying. It felt very strange about that. The firearm is in hand and the material is dry. Reason is not supposed to fail. He returned with another pile of dry material. By the way, how to use a firearm. Never mind that it lit up. It's not easy. Starting a fire almost wears you out. The smoke was getting thicker and thicker. I can barely keep my eyes open. Are you sure it's okay to stay in there all night? We had to divert the fire outside. Do you find it easy to watch TV? It's a real headache when it's your turn. All kinds of things need to be learned slowly. Luckily, there's a cave where you don't have to build shelter. I don't even have a place to sleep tonight. It's just that there's no fire inside. The surrounding mosquitoes are becoming extremely active. Put on your side. Worst of all, the bats come back to rest. It's covered all over. How is it possible to sleep in this environment? Tomorrow, or find a new place to camp, or to get used to bat coexistence. I didn't sleep well the first night. Bats have been making noises all night. The only benefit is fewer mosquitoes. A few more nights should get you used to it. A fire can't keep burning outside the cave. Wake up every day and make a fire. It's a little troubling to even think about it. The problem is it can't light now. You need drier wood. Otherwise, it won't work for half a day. The nearby materials are even worse. It crumbles and it's wet. It took a lot of work to get the good ones. If you start a fire like this every day, instant sensation of scalp tingling. Ernie thought carefully about what to do in such a situation. Usually they light up pretty well. Why are you asking so many questions? We can't keep obsessing about the fire. What resources do you have in the neighborhood? It's better to get something to eat. Machetes are not suitable for dealing with surrounding animals. The easiest thing to use is a spear. I can help you on your way. They can keep their distance when facing their prey. It is highly recommended for outdoor walking. Usually there's food under the rock. It is best to be able to find snakes to eat. Their thinking is simple. Nothing around the problem. It's hard to be hungry. I went around and I found this cactus. I hear it's better when it's roasted. They don't know if it's true. It's enough to keep it clean, anyway. The cactus was put back on the fire and roasted again. Doesn't Ernie feel like a cucumber? It's the same as not eating. I don't want to eat anymore if I can help it. I miss eating meat every day. Suddenly, there was thunder in the sky. My worst fears were realized. Fire can only be transferred in on rainy days. If this fire goes out, there's really no dry wood burning around. The smoke is worse than expected. I don't feel like I'm warming myself up. They smoke it inside. The situation is getting worse. I can't imagine the chaos at night. Now the temperature is getting lower and lower. They hugged each other for warmth. The effect, however, was modest. You still have to warm up with some exercise. There were naked men and women playing sports. It's kind of weird to think about it. The challenge came on day 5. The rain stopped for a rare sunny day. The cave was wet everywhere. It's going to flood this place in the rainy season. It's best to move on for safety's sake. If the map the show gave us is correct, then they have to go to the cenote to get water. It's almost 3 kilometers away. It's all groundwater over there, and there's plenty of food there. If I could eat a whole crocodile, we'll have food for the rest of our lives. Ernie felt compelled to go and see. No good will come of staying where you are. Mandy was being manipulated by her partner. It certainly feels that way. I don't want to live next door to bats anymore. Protect your shoes before you go. We can't let the rocks down there slow us down. There's a tequila nearby to use. Cut the plant into strips and twist. Just tie it up like she did. And don't say it looks really good. I don't know how durable it is. 2 people pack up and get ready to go. When we get there, we build our own shelter. I get a headache just thinking about it. The Wilderness Survival Challenge is really not easy. Everything needs to be considered. The pressure is so great that I can hardly breathe. Thought the rock underneath was the biggest problem. I didn't realize mosquitoes were so annoying. The mood is getting more agitated. The shoes only took about an hour. Has begun to fall apart. The speed of walking is going down and down. How happy you were laughing. Now that's how hard it is. There's a stone path up there. I don't think I can do that without a break. Double-check the location of the landing point before he dared to take a step forward. Despite being so careful, But that foot has to hurt anyway, as much as I want to stop and rest. But we can't waste any more time. Just suck it up and carry on. Ernie thought he had been careless, learning wilderness survival skills. I forgot to exercise my feet. There seems to be plenty of room for improvement. Mandy felt the same around her. I don't think it's getting lost in circles. Ernie, tell your partner to calm down. It couldn't have been that bad. It's always going in the same direction. Don't scare yourself. Mandy's still freaking out. I was afraid I'd led the wrong way. Luckily, there's a cenote just up the road. It really drives people crazy. There's plenty of water around here. I'm sure you can find food with reason. Look at the crocodile over here. The size is really very attractive. It's just that Ernie's foot won't hold up. Every step is like stepping on a brother. The pain was excruciating. Kneel down to a flatter place. My feet are finally a little more comfortable. Bring the fire to a boil first. The next step is to build a simple shelter. Don't ask how good the quality can be. Just a little protection from the wind. It was nice to get in there. It's the bugs inside that can't be stopped. The ass is constantly being chewed. I'm afraid it's going to go deeper. Probably slept less than 2 hours all night. The state of mind is terrible. The shelter needs to be better. If you don't get gnawed every day, you'll go crazy. The more common A-frame structure is adopted. There's plenty of room for both of them. The surrounding materials are just right for the construction. Thought we'd finish early and take a break nearby. It's just that the rain's coming. There was no time left for them to prepare. Barely finished before the rain. I mean, that's pretty shabby. There is absolutely no way to stop the rain. Raindrops kept falling in. Ernie had to work in the rain, even if we finally finished the shelter. But it didn't stop the rain, just to keep the fire going. They've been tortured to death. We are now halfway through the challenge. It's a lot more emaciated than when we got here. Mandy is an emotional wreck. If Ernie hadn't been there to encourage, she already called the show home. The main thing is who can bear to starve every day. Now we have to perfect the shelter. I'm going to change it to something more sheltered. The need for wood that is growing exponentially. I spend most of my time on it. I haven't even seen the meat. Is this going to make sure the belly's okay? The shelter is just getting ready for further improvement. Thunder was heard in the sky. This rainstorm is going to stop for a while before coming to work. The shelter is better than I thought. At least no raindrops are falling in. Ernie was so comfortable that he snored. It's not easy. The challenge came on the 8th day. The shelter was quite successful. No more worrying about waking up in the middle of the night. The biggest problem now is food. Haven't had a good meal in a long time. What did Ernie say about taking a bow and arrow to hunt? See if there's anything to eat around here. I don't see any fish here. Crocodiles are a little too risky. A lizard in a tree is more to your liking. Too bad Mandy didn't take her chance. Hunger has taken a toll on concentration. The body is getting weaker day by day. Ernie felt like he couldn't shoot the arrow. There's no decent food around, and it's not convenient to draw a bow, even if the prey is ahead. He said he was scared before he got within range. The next few days were spent trying to find food. Mandy is so thin, she can't hold it back. I never thought I'd be this hungry. I don't even have the strength to cry out loud. The challenge is on its 13th day. Tomorrow is the day of the evacuation. If we don't find food today, I don't know how they can hold on, you know? Even a lizard doesn't have the strength to catch it. Mandy had to call her partner for help. See if he can hunt it with a bow. The distance between the two sides is not very far. Pick up the bow and shoot straight. The good news is it hit the target. The bad news is it's crawling up there. It's too hard to fix an arrow at this height. The only way to get food, that is to cut down the tree. Mandy's pinning all her hopes on this. The idea is good, the problem is really bad. The two tried their best to get the lizard down, but it still had the strength to jump into the tree opposite. Looks like there's no chance we'll bleed out and pass out. In the end, I have no choice but to give up food. Brace yourself for the day of evacuation. Man, no wonder the show is on 14 days. It turned out to be the limit of starvation for ordinary people. The director really put it there. Mandy felt like she was going to the limit. She was eager to ask the person who completed the challenge, how the hell did it work out? Is the food really enough to fill you up? The two comforted each other. Let the lizard feed it to the dogs. Completing the challenge is more important. We're still some way from the evacuation point, although the body is already very weak. But it's a high state of mind. They believe in the protection of their shoes. I'm sure I can finish the challenge and go home. It doesn't matter what you meet on the way, does it? Only the desire to win. The exit was not easy. There were sharp stones and thorns everywhere. Lucky to have prepared shoes in advance. Or we're going home in a big circle. They were not walking very fast. Every step is so hard. They gritted their teeth and carried on. There is no water to replenish. All by force of will. If the shoe is not disconnected, need to rest. Probably as far as the extraction point. It was almost a 3-hour walk through the jungle. I saw a different path. The show's car is in position. It's not easy. I didn't need any meat the whole time. Good thing it's only a 14-day challenge. Every day of challenge, people will collapse. After all, is this fan a challenge? I wonder if they'll do it again. Let's wait and see.